Oh, okay. Oh, I feel so unprepared. It's so weird. All right, so we are going to be talking about the abacus again, and again. Okay, what are we going to do? We're going to be counting. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are talking about the abacus. This is a counting tool. This counting tool helps me count. What does that mean? What are we counting? Why are we counting? We're going to be doing some mathing because abacus is about math. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4. We can do adding, subtraction, multiplication, and division, and with decimals. Welcome, 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 everybody. So what we're doing is we're counting on the abacus. Where is everybody coming from? Just let me know in the chat. Welcome, everybody. We're going to be counting on the abacus. We are looking at this crazy thing. This crazy thing is an abacus, and it helps me count. Now, why are we doing it? It's because I want to know what the abacus is. This is not a historic, antique thing. It's not a child's toy. It can be a child's toy. It can be a roller skater, or a car with a lot of wheels. But really, this is a counting tool. This is a calculating tool. This is a math tool. This is a math manipulative that we can use in math. That would be cool if we could do it in like regular school, but it is what it is, right? So how do we do it? Well, what we're going to do is we're going to look at this horizontal bar. This horizontal bar tells me that some of the beads are being counted. So when I do this, 1, 2, 3, 4, now I know that these beads are being counted because these beads are touching the horizontal bar. Because it's touching the horizontal bar, I know that these beads are counted. These beads, if you notice, are not touching the horizontal bar. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, everybody. Come on in. Come on in. We're talking about the abacus. So if you notice, none of these beads are touching the horizontal bar. That means these are not counted. These are all zeros. But I have 4 here. If anybody knows, I have 4. So then you're like, wait a minute. What happened to 5? Well, that's the interesting thing about the abacus is that the 5 will always be the top bead no matter what. No matter what, the top bead will always be the 5. The 5 is the top bead touching the horizontal bar. This is the only bead that's being touched. This is the only bead that's sitting on top of this horizontal bar. Now I know that this is being counted. So because this is being counted, I know if this is 5, then I have 6. Well, with this number 6, because it's 5, the value of 5 on top, and then the value of 1. So when we count 5, 6, 7, and then 8. Anybody here? Hello, everybody. I see a lot of people. 15 likes. Thank you so much for liking. All right, so what are we trying to do? We're trying to count. We need to understand how to read the abacus first before we can start going into adding, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Yes, we can do multiplication and division. It just depends on how far everybody's along. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to learn how to count on the abacus. Hey, Nightcrawler and Huntfish and Caitlin, welcome everybody. If you have any questions, let me know. So we're going to start over again because then the question is why am I starting in the middle? I'm starting in the middle because there's an indicator. This indicator tells me that this is my ones place. Thank you so much for the likes. Just because I have my dot here or my dot here, I can choose any one, but what we're going to do is we're going to use the dot as an indicator that this is the ones place. So what does that mean? Well, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we have 5. All the top beads has a value of 5. This is 5, this is 5, this is 5, 5. These are all 5s. So they're being when they're sitting on the horizontal bar, that means that they're being counted. So these are all being counted. These are all 5s. Or we could do this. These are all the 4s. How do I see 4? Well, just as we see the abacus, 1, 2, 3, 4, this is what 4 is. Because this is 4, oh, I saw your videos last night and got into it. Now you're live. I guess I'm going to stay. Good morning. Good morning. That's fantastic. Yeah, I was just trying to catch up on some comments last night, and then I'm like, oh, I got to go to bed. Okay, so this is what we do on the abacus. And so what we could do, Kristen, is it Kristen? Yeah, Kristen. So, Kirsten. So yeah, what we're doing is we're reading the abacus, and so what we could do is we can add and subtract on the abacus. Fire starter. This is cool stuff. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Not everybody thinks that math is cool though. Some people are scared of math, and I want to alleviate that. Why? Because this is simple to use and easy to understand. But the first thing we need to do is understand it, right? If we can just kind of like, hey, what is this crazy thing? We can understand it. So if you notice, this is 4. Because this is 4, we have our 5. The top bead will always be 5. and wasn't a math kid in school. I don't know why. This is so cool to me. Oh yeah, Kirsten. See, the thing is we were really pushed to look at the numbers, and when you look at the numbers, they're like, what is this crazy thing? Because if you think about it, numbers are symbols. But if we just use the abacus, and we would be able to get to it. So when we talk about it, right, we know that this is 5. We have 6, 7, 8, and 9. So easier than that. X minus y times 6 with the x. Yeah. We don't, you know what? We don't do algebra, but we do algebra steps, and I can talk about that. Okay, so here's the first thing, and then if I do that, if you notice, why am I doing this? Well, this is 19. How do I know that this is 19? This is 19 because now I have my ones, my tens, my hundreds, my thousands, and my 10,000s. So when I'm looking at the abacus, it mimics the way we write. So when I have my numbers, just like how we have 10. 10. So we have 10, right? Just like our 10, just like how we write, we have our 1 and then we have our 0. Okay? We got it? We're okay? So let's do some numbers. Let's do some numbers. You know, and that's the first thing, right? The first thing to do is to understand how to read the numbers. So let's do some numbers, right? We understand, right? We understand that this is 4. Now, we know that this is 4, this is 40, this is 400, okay? This is 4,000. If you notice the dots, thank you so much for the follow. If you notice that I have these dots are my indicators. My indicators tell me whether I'm going to do, which is my ones place. Now, if you notice, they're sectioned into 3. Just like how we write, we have commas. So if I did this number, 4,532, let's say that, right? 4,000, notice my dot, 4,000, so it's easier to see, 532. Okay? We're okay? We're okay? Anybody have any questions? Questions? Anybody? Bueller, anybody have any questions? Thank you so much for the likes. Thank you for joining. Okay, so here's a question. What about these columns here? Well, if you notice, these columns would be where the decimal is. So remember where your decimal is, right? Just like in money, we have 4,532 decimal, right? 25 cents. We can do 25. So that's what the decimals are. I'm late. Can you review the basics? Not a problem. We're going through it right now. So if you look, we have our ones. This is our ones because this is the 0. This is my dots. I'm sorry. This is my ones. My ones is 2. How do I know it's 2? Simple to use, easy to understand. So we have our ones. This is 2, right? See how I wrote 2? So this is 2. But look, if you notice on my columns, yeah, right? Easy. Simple to understand. So here, because my dot, my decimal, this is what I'm talking about. My decimal is in between these two columns. This is my tenths, and this is my hundredths. So, thank you so much, musician, songwriter, Glow Girls. I will continue. So we have 3. We understand what 3 looks like. How do we know? 1, 2, 3. Anything that's touching the beam, anything that's touching the horizontal bar is counted. Now, if you look, this is the only one that's not counted. Why? Because this is 0. But what do? We have 4. So this is 4,000 because this is my deemed as ones. Ones, tens, hundreds, thousands. So thank you so much for the share. So this is my thousands, 4,500. Why is this 500? All the top bead will have a value of 5, no matter what. No matter what abacus we're in, or no matter what abacus we have, that will always be 5. So this is 5, and this is 3. How do I know? 1, 2, 3, because it's touching this beam, right? And then this is 2 and 2 and 5. So when we look at it, it's 4,532 decimal point 25. Does that make sense, musician? Glow Girls. I'm going to call you Glow Girls because I'm going to say, because that's a big number. Big word. So, did that make sense, Glow Girls? I don't know if you're still, oh, you're still here. Yeah, right? Yes, Kristen? Yes. Okay, so let's talk about it. Well, it's the same thing, right? Hey, Joseph. Okay, here's another thing, right? If I did this, what does that mean? Well, that means that this is a 0, just like we write. We have 4,530.25. It's exactly the same. A bit, it's this universal. I saw it used in Estonia. Yes. Yes, it is universal as long as it's the same shape. Right, it's the same beads, same amount of beads. So all the top beads is the value of 5. Yeah. Where did I learn this? Or when did I learn this? I've learned this about 20 plus years ago. I'm super old. So, Glow Girls, if you notice, this is my Chinese abacus. This is my Japanese abacus. The Japanese abacus, as they always do, make everything more efficient. So it started off with abacus is very old, right? We're talking about like Mesopotamia. When we started doing business, they started using abacus. And they started with pebbles first. So because they started with pebbles, then they changed it into a frame. And as they put it into a frame, like then it went into like all these other places, right? So I'm not saying that Chinese people created it. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is they put it into a frame like this, and this is what it looks like. So, where are the pros of using an abacus rather than other tools? Yeah, I don't understand. I don't understand why we're introducing all these manipulatives when we can just introduce the abacus. Okay, so back to my thought. So going back, yes, they work very similar. So we have our 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice I have 5 beads on the bottom. I have 5 beads on the bottom. Right? I have 4 beads here. That's fine. But on the Japanese abacus, we know that this will always be 5. But on the Chinese abacus, we always have 5, or this is 5. So now there's 2 ways of learning 5, or 2 ways to remember 5. And I'm like, 2 ways to remember 5, that's too much. You know what? That's too much. I'm done. But let's continue on. So just like we do 5 here and we do 5 here, not a problem, right? So we have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Notice on the Japanese abacus, we have 9. Chinese abacus, we have 6, right? We have 6, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then there's 10. I'm like, wait a minute, 10? This is 10. This is 10 on the Japanese abacus. How do I know? This is my 1s, this is my 10s, just like as I said, right? My 1s, this is the dot I'm going to use, this is my 1s. Now, the difference here is we're now breaking the logic, of understanding what our place value is. Now this is 10, but if this is 10, this is 10. I'm like, what? Or 10. Now there's 3 ways to remember 10, and I'm like, you know what? I'm done. That's too much. You could still do it on the abacus. You just got to remember what you're looking at. But the Japanese abacus made it more efficient. So this will always be 10 and 10 only. So yes, right? Kind of just cooler why to learn. Continue with the class. Oh, okay, cool. Not a problem. I will. So, thank you so much for the support, because it's kind of like, I don't know if anybody wants to be mathing in the middle of the morning. It's a Sunday. I don't want to math. Okay. So that's the difference between the Chinese abacus and the Japanese abacus. You could still do it if you had a Chinese abacus. If you want to do the Japanese way, you could just use the top. Guess what time it is? Andrew Nose is here. I'm so confused, but this is cool to see. Mom loves me too. Let's talk about this. Let's unpack this. Let's workshop this. Yeah, no, this is interesting because people kind of come in as they come in. It's like in the middle of my shtick. All right, what time is it? Andrew Nose? I don't even know where you are, Andrew Nose, but I know you know the abacus, Andrew, because I know you got it. All right, so my moms love me too. Okay. Let's start from the beginning. Because you know what we need to do is we need to understand how to read the abacus, and I understand. There's no point of going on if we don't understand what we're doing. That's why sometimes I notice that I interrupt people when I'm like, wait a minute, I don't understand. So I'm happy that you mentioned that you're confused. So let's talk about it. Let's unpack this. No, this is not a therapy session. This is just how to read the abacus, and we're going to be mathing. So this is my horizontal bar. This horizontal bar tells me what beads are being counted. When we have this horizontal bar, when this bottom bead touches the horizontal bar, that means it's 1. That's all it is. And this is 2, this is 3, this is 4. Nothing else. That's as far as it goes. But then you're like, wait, but there's more. How do you do 5? 5, reading the abacus easy part when we have Lynette as our teacher. Whoa! Andrew was like, I'm so confused. This is not good. But then Andrew's like, no, I understand. Great. Thank you so much, Andrew. I appreciate you. All right. So again, this is the top bead. The top bead will always have a value of 5 no matter what. The value of 5 is going to be this, right? So when we look, I don't know if this is better. Okay, when we look, this is 5. We have 6. Why do we have that 6? 6 because this has a value of 1. So when we bring it together, this is 6. This is 7, right? If I made this 0, notice that all the beads are not touching the horizontal bar. Now, when I do this, this is 7. How do I know? Because it's 5, 6, 7. Oh, make sure that the beads are touching. The beads are a little bit loose. The beads are very loose, so they can be quickly moved. So it'd be like, but I'm not that fast. I'm not fast. I'm really slow. I like to see my words. I like to see my my beads. So we have 7, and then we have 8. How do I know? 5, 6, 7, 8. Thank you for the follow. Thank you for the follow. Moms love me too. This is 8. And then we have 9. We have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Andrew, you didn't tell me what time it is. It is 8 a.m. for me, and I'm on the California. I'm in the Pacific Coast. But just so everybody knows, whoever's here, I am going to have a hard 50-minute because I have class at 9. I have a student coming in. Not coming in, actually. I have to go to school. But I do have a student, and he is 5? Yeah, he's 5. And we're going to do adding and subtracting. We're doing plus 10s. We're going to be doing plus 10s. So, thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Okay, Andrew knows. What time is it? You haven't told me. I'm still stuck on that. So, now we have 9. We have 9, but what do we do with 10? Well, if you notice, remember we said that this is 1. Because this is 1, now we start looking at our place values. In our place values, we have our ones place. This ones, time to learn with that for me. You're so silly. So in our ones place, the ones place, right? This is ones. Now, just like how we write, this is 10. How do I know? Because it's a 0 and a 10. 0 and a 1. The 0 is our ones, right? This is my indicator. My indicator is the dot, and sometimes I cover it. This one is my ones, my tens, my hundreds, my thousands, and my 10,000. So when I look at it, this will be 20. Now I have 20, and now I have 30, and then 40. Just like how we counted here, 1, 2, 3, 4, I could do 10, 20, 30, 40. Moms love me too. Did that make sense? So we're okay, or am I going to continue on? I can continue on. We could do 50, 500. How do I know? 500, 5,000, 500, 5000, or 50. No, not 50. That number would be what? 10. Oh yeah, 3,000 likes. Thank you so much. 31 people in the room. Hello. I've never had that many people in my room before. Okay, now what number is this? Okay, in the chat, if we know if this is my ones, my tens, my hundreds, my thousands, and my 10,000s, if I have these ones touching, what number do we know what this is? Exactly, 11,000. 11,000, because this is, I'm going to deem this as my ones. Because I have my 1 here, easy to see. Simple to use, easy to remember. Easy to remember. No, easy to understand. I always wanted to know how to read the abacus, right? Hey, Cal. Yeah, we're reading the abacus. When we do it, this would be 12,000. 12,000. The reason why is because I said that this was going to be my ones, my tens, my hundreds, my thousands, and my 10,000. Thank you so much for the like. Thank you so much for the like. Woo! 3.5. Okay, so we're going to continue. Now, if I did this, right, if I did that, it'd be 12,006. Cal, you will get more in this live than any research, I promise. Oh, woo, well, thank you so much for the dinosaur, Joseph. Sent a tiny teeny. Okay, we're back to here. We're back to here. Now, what does that mean? Well, we're going to count it, right? Notice this is my 4. So I have my 4, my 5, my 3, my 2, right? So now I have 4,532. Point. This is my decimal, just like how we have money, right? This would be my coins. Why would you? Well, when we teach children, right, we teach them how to use money, right? We do the pennies. This is a penny. Is this a penny? that's not a penny, because now it looks like the dot is over here, right? This is my decimal. This is not a penny. This is a dime. This is a penny. So remember the zeros. Remember the zero takes a place value. We can't ignore the zeros. We cannot ignore the zeros. Okay, so this number here is 25. So I do 20 and I do 5. Because now, if you look, my decimal happens between, hey, Lewis, my decimal happens between the two columns. Now, the blue bean, no worries, don't be sorry. Just ask, no, don't be sorry. Lewis, right? Lewis. They are 5. Yes, Camille, thank you so much. These all have the value of 5. So when we look, we have 4,000. How do I know? Okay, I'm going to count the numbers. 4, 5, 3, 2, 2, and 5. Now, when I add the 5, when I do that, now we have 8. How do I know? 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so when we do this, we're now starting talking about place value. So I have my ones, that's where my dot is. Now my ones, my tens, my hundreds, and my thousands. Woo! Thank you. Hey, Ethan! Good evening, Ethan. What time is it? Oh, Khalil, thank you so much for the roses. Whoa, I'm at 4,000 likes. Woo! Okay, back to here. So we're just reading the abacus. Why? Because we read the abacus before we could start 11:14 p.m. That's funny. The reason why we start learning, we read the abacus first before we can start adding and subtracting. So I want to make sure that we're all on the same page and we understand how to read the abacus. So we have 5, 2, 2, 8. Right now, because I added the 8, added the 5 to the 3. So that made me 8. This is 5. Only, and then this is 4. I get it now. Okay, great. So what we're going to do, so this is the place value. We have the place value. This is the 4,530, 0, and then 25. So just like we write on the abacus, we can write, just like how we write, the abacus mimics how we write. We go from left to right. Easy. Right? Simple to use, easy to understand. Simple to use, easy to understand. Yes, thank you so much for letting me know. So, that was the first step. The first step was to actually understand how to read the abacus. Now, when I have my abacus, to reset, that was one thing. When somebody came in and was like, how do you reset it? Can you do 22 times 4? The answer is 88, but I don't get it. Okay, let's do it. Okay, we're ready. We'll do multiplication right now. Okay. Ethan pushes the class forward so fast that we didn't even do adding. Okay, so to reset, before I forget my thought, to reset the abacus, all you got to do is tilt it, because notice all the beads will come to the bottom, and then move all the top beads. That's how you reset it. Or you can have this really nifty reset button. This one is a 23 column abacus, and it works exactly the same. The only difference is it's just a different color. That's all it is. Because, this one I usually use for the younger kids because it's nice and pretty and it's colorful. And we do there's a lot of color in school, right? This one is a little bit more, it's just single colored. But this one's made out of real bamboo. And this one's made from Japan. This is an old abacus. I've had this abacus since I started learning abacus. And I've learned abacus for about more than 20 years. But I didn't do it on my own. Actually, my dad forced me to. Can you pinch the numbers and slide? Oh, okay, yeah. You can pinch it like this. I do that too. I also do this where I tilt it and then I move it all up like this. I use the back of my finger where my nail is, and I push it. So what I do is I run my finger along the horizontal bar, and I push it up. That's all I do. So thank you so much for liking my live. Thank you for the follow. Let me know if you have any questions. Yeah, so a little bit of my backstory was my dad forced me to learn the abacus because he wanted to start a business. And I'm like, I don't even know what an abacus is. I don't even know why. But then when I started learning abacus, I'm like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing next to sliced bread. And then I taught my kids. And then I have a learning center out in Monterey Park. Anybody want to come over and check it out? We have it there. If anybody wants in person, but I'm doing online, so I have online classes on how to read the abacus for everybody and anybody. So, and anybody who's interested in learning. Okay, so that's a little bit about that. Let's talk about, so I guess we're going to do some multiplication. Now, multiplication's a little tricky. Why is it tricky? It's not really tricky. We have a set of protocols. We have a set of rules that we need to do. So Ethan asked 22 times 44. We know this. Well, okay. How do we show it on the abacus is the question. Because you're knowing abacus on the knowing how to do multiplication on the abacus, you really need to know your math facts. So the question is 22 times 44, right? We could do it this way. In school, what do? We do this and then this, right? Not a problem. Not a problem. But in abacus, what we're going to do is we're going to do it like this. We're going to go 4 and then 4. 4 times 2 and then 4 times 2 times 4. I'm going to use the column abacus because I will have enough columns. Now, when I do this, what I need to do is I need to figure out where my starting point is. In regular math, we start from the 0. We start from the 1s, and then we move our way. But in abacus, what we do is we go from left to right, because when we talk, it's 1,234, right? 1,000. So it's the same thing when we do our multiplication. We need to figure out where our starting point is. So our starting point is counting all the digits. We have 1, 2, 3. We count all the digits. We know I'm going to be at the 100s column, right? That would be 3. So 1, 2, 3. So now I'm at the hundreds column. Because I'm at the hundreds column, now I can start multiplying it out. When I multiply it out, I'm just exaggerating because that's how I talk to the kids. What are you doing? Anyways, so we're going to multiply it out. When we multiply it out, all we're doing is we're going to do 4 times 2. We need to understand this as a multiplication fact. But because 4 times 2 is 8, 8 is a single digit. When 8 is a single digit, we go back one column. That's all we're doing, Ethan. So we go back one column, we add 8. That is how we show it on the abacus. This is great for the kids because they could see it, right? And then now we've already done this one. Now we're going to do the next one. That's all we're going to do. Again, 8 is a single digit. So what are we going to do? You could have a leading 0. You could make it say 08. So we remember that there's a 0 and there's an 8. So then again, we have a 0 and we have an 8. So this is what it would look like. 88. That's what it would look like on the abacus. Yeah. So, did that make sense? But when we do it, we always try to figure out where our abacus, where our starting point is. So now, I mean, it's going to be kind of the same here. So, do the blue ones represent 5? Yes! Yes, Hail! Yes, Hail Odyssey. Yes. 5 is always going to be the top bead. The abacus, what's the meaning of the colors and what does it mean? The abacus is a counting tool, and what we're going to do is we're going to count. To understand this, to understand how to count, we look at the horizontal bar, and when the beads are touching the horizontal bar, this is what's being counted. As we count, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. So we have 3. Thank you so much for the likes. This is 3, and then this is 4. So then my other question is, well, what about 5? Well, 5 is, as we said, the blue beads is 5. Just as Hail Odyssey is saying, right? Hail Odyssey, notice that this is 5. So we have 6. How do I know? Because we have 5 and 6, and then 7. We have 5, 6, 7. Whoa, let's go. Let's go. So we have 8. We have 7. We have 8. This is 8. How do I know? 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 9. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Stranger followed my live. Thank you so much. What are your thoughts on finger abacus method? I think it's fine. Clip farming. I don't know what that means. I think it's fine. It just gets a little bit. I don't know. I don't know finger abacus for 1, and 2. I don't know how they do decimals. So like on the abacus, we can do decimals. It's a great starting point, but again, don't forget abacus. Even this abacus is not end all. Right? We still need to do algebra. We still need to do calculus. So it's a great, finger abacus, I think, is a great starting point. Don't get me wrong. I think it's great. So, okay, the question is, so would all of them being down like this? Like for 20, would it be 2 and a 0? Yes, exactly, Cal. Exactly. So right now, there's a lot of 5s, right? So if I reset and I do 20, it would be 2 and a 0 because my 1s, this is my 1s. You could say that this is my ones over here. You could say that too. Why do I have so many dots? It's to help us group. It's to help us group the numbers, right? So we look at it. Even on the bigger abacus, I would start in the middle, but because it's a really big abacus, I'm going to start over here, right? So it doesn't matter which dot indicator that you use. It just matters which one you're using. It doesn't matter which one. It just matters what you want. So it's more about, perspective. So I could start here depending on, like, this is a really big abacus. Let me get the smaller one. So then I have a 13 column one. A 13 column one would be more prudent for adults. Clip farming basically means a hate comment, repeating something till people hate it. Oh, okay. Thanks, it was fun. Yeah, no problem, Cal. So going back, understanding how how the dots are, right? So we have ones and our thousands, and then we have millions, right? Because the way we read it, right? So just as we said, 20, and I'm starting in the middle. Or I could do 20 over here. How do I know? Because this would be my ones, and then this would be my tens. So this is 20, and then 30, 40. So I could do it over here, right? It just depends on where you're going to add, where you're going to deem the starting point. All right, so Ethan, did that make sense with the multiplication? Because we can do multiplication, we can add. So you can start at any dot. Yeah, you can start at any dot, not a problem. Just make sure you remember which dot. You could start without a dot, but then it gets confusing really quick because when the numbers get more, I would forget where I started. So I would recommend to start in an indicator, in a dot. So, did that make sense? Anybody else have questions? We can keep talking about how to read it, or we can talk about how to add. So there was one where I was watching a video. How do you add? How do you teach the kids how to add? One of them was 5 plus 3. So we have 5. Oh, let me show you this one. So we have 5. Where is 5? 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. So the question was 5. I'm over here, right here. So this is 5, right? 5. So I'm going 5. And then plus 3. Hey, it's 8. Hey, it's my time. You're on the West Coast. Okay, I'm on the West Coast too. I'm in California. Okay, so we're doing 5, and then we want to add 3. So the question was 5 plus 3, and they're like, yeah, and they were really focused on the. Is that the book you wrote? Yeah, I created this book. It's a math workbook. Yes, it is, and it's available on Amazon. And you can find my name if you can find my name. Let me find my name. You can find it. I'm still trying to do it on, on TikTok Shop, but I can't figure out how to do TikTok Shop. So if you do, yeah, I don't know. I have to find my name. I can't find my name. Let me write my name. Okay, my name. So you can find my books if anybody is interested. That's my name. Okay. A little notebook cute. Yeah. This one just came from the market. Okay, so if you're looking for that, that's what it is. My name. And then this is the book. And then I have a series of books. So going back to my thought. So the question is 5 plus 3. So they did 5 plus 3, and they were really focused on the result. I'm like, okay, well, that doesn't make sense to me, but whatever. So then the next one was 7 plus 1. I was like, 7 plus 1. But notice the way I have it sectioned off is we look at the second add-in. What we do is we look at the add-in. So here, if you notice, now I'm in the 2, right? So now what I want to do is I want to do 7, and then 7, and then plus 1. I wanted to show the kids the different scenarios of how to get an 8. But in the video, they were like, this is 8, yay! And I'm like, okay, wait, hold up. So then the final question was 4 plus 4. So if you notice, I have 4, and I want to add another 4. So when I add another 4, that's where it's a problem. Why is it a problem? Because now I have no more beads. Because I have no more beads, what do? Well, after the children understand how to add, right? After we know how to move the beads, what we just did, we moved the beads. 2 plus 2 is 4, right? Or 5 plus 4, right? 5 plus 4 is 9. These are called simple. When it's simple, we're just adding the beads. It's good to move the beads to see how they work. So when we're adding, right, let's do 1 plus 1. We do 1 plus 1. Not a problem, right? Makes sense. But the problem when the last question was 4 and now I want to add another 4. Now we're getting into something more different. Now we're getting into a thing called plus the 5. What does that mean? Well, in school, we're teaching the children how to make a 5. This is what we're teaching the children. And this is a great concept. The great concept is how to teach how to create a 5. Now, put it in the chat, how many ways can I make a 5? If you notice, I have 1 plus 4 is equal to 5. Put it in the chat, what's another way to make a 5? Put it in the chat to make a 5. How are we going to make a 5? Yes, thank you, Ethan. 3 plus 2, 1 plus 4. Yes, thank you so much. Yes, Mary Cat. Yes, 2 plus 3. So if you notice, these are how to make 5s. And I was just introducing the number line. But in Abacus, we don't talk about number lines. I just wanted to signify that we're using this in school. Because we're using this in school, what we're going to do is we're going to move it. We're going to utilize the concept. So what does that mean? Well, when we get to 4, we got the question, right? The question is 4 plus 4. Okay, yeah, we'll do that. So the question is 4 plus 4. If you notice, here's my question, 4 plus 4. Now, thank you so much for liking my live. Now, the question is now what are we going to do? I don't have enough beads to add the 4. I don't have enough beads to add the 4. What I'm going to do is I am going to play with my camera. Okay. I add the 4. Now, what are we going to do? We're going to plus the 5, and we're going to take away the 1. This is a concept that we teach in Abacus because it's just one of those fundamental things. So what we're going to do is when we want to add the 4, all we have to do is plus the 5 and take away the 1. We're going to plus the 5 and take away the 1. And so then my answer is 8. So now, instead of learning your doubles, what we do learn is our fundamentals. This is a fundamental formula in Abacus. Now, we can take it one step further. Let's take it one step, right? Let's take it again. Let's do 2, right? Let's do 2. 2, and I want to add 4. If I add 4, I don't have enough beads to add the 4. I don't want to learn my doubles, right? I don't want to learn doubles minus 1. I don't want to learn doubles. I don't want to memorize that. What I want to learn is how do I move my beads? We are just working on 5-based numbers last week. I bet this would be easier on this Abacus. Yes, you know what? It would be. Yes, Mary Cat. Yes, Mary. Yes, because what we're doing is we only need to remember this. This is what we have to memorize. We don't have to memorize the other strategies, but we need to use the Abacus. When you use the Abacus, we can see why we need it. Why do we want to add the 4? Because we don't have enough beads. How can I add the 4? How can I add the 4? I want to go plus the 5 minus the 1. So I'm going to plus the 5 and then take away the 1. And that's it. That's all I need to memorize. I need to memorize this. How I use it, why I'm using it. Okay, so what's the deal with the cats in the tree? The cats in the... Oh my goodness, there's 41 people. Hi, everybody. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if you have any questions about Abacus. Just so you know. Let me know if you have any questions about Abacus because it doesn't help if you don't know how to read it and then I'm just going to carry on. So let me know if you have any questions about the Abacus. So what is the deal with the cats in the tree? Well, the cats in the tree is a little story I created because the kids were having problems with understanding why do we move the 5. So just as this question here, let's do it again. We do 2, right? We do 2, and then what we're going to do is, oh, thank you so much for the corn. I hope this makes sense, la, Jenna. Okay, so here, now the question is why do we have this? Why do we have 5 cats? The story is, I don't have enough beads. Oh, that's not right. I don't have enough beads to add the 4, right? Because I only have 2 beads here. I'm going to go to the cats in the tree. The cats in the tree will have 5 cats. And no matter what, they'll always have 5 cats. Wow, I've got diamonds too. Thank you so much for sharing my live. Okay, so I have 5 cats. I have 5 cats in the tree. I'm going to go to the tree. I'm going to add 5 cats. Notice that? I'm going to grab 4 cats. I'm going to grab 4 cats. 1 cat runs away. So the 1 cat runs away. So then I'm left with 6. The cats are bottom bead. They climb up. Oh, that's a good one. Oh, thank you so much, Whimsy. Yeah, that's a good one. The five cats run up, the five cats are the bottom of the, but it's only four cats on the bottom. Four cats on the bottom. That's a tough one. I don't know about that one. Because there's only four cats on the bottom and then one cat runs up and then you make five. I'm not sure about that one. I have to think about it. I have to marinate on that one. But that sounds like interesting. But the concept here is to understand the five cats are in the tree. When there's five cats in the tree, that's what we're doing. We go to the five cats in the tree, right? We go to the five cats in the tree, and then we grab four cats and one cat runs away. That was the story that I made. So that's why we do the five. So notice we only do that, and then we could take it one step further. Well, we could do 1 plus 4. Easy, easy, right? Neil the seal. So we do 4. No, we do 1. We're doing 1, and then again, notice we don't have enough beads to add the 4, right? Is there a reason you're using the second column on the abacus? Yes, there is. No, there isn't actually. No, I'm using it because I have an indicator. This indicator tells me that this is my ones place. That's all I'm doing, Amanda. Make sense? So I can use this one or I can use this one, but I want to use the one that has an indicator because then I know where I'm going. Because when we are moving with more numbers, I'll forget where I started. So that's why you can use any dot. So if I have this one, this is my 13 column one. Notice I have more dots. I can start from here, 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 or here. Karush, you would have to memorize what 4 times 4 is. I could do it on the abacus. We could do it on the abacus. But then we could do it on the abacus. So what is 4 times 4? 4 times 4 is just fast math, right? 4 times 4 is we're going to start doing, what do you call it? Cumulative addition. What does that mean? Well, let me write it all out. So we do 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4. We're going to do this. This is what we're going to do on the abacus, right? But typically you would have to memorize this. I got my kids to memorize their multiplication table because they got tired of adding it on the abacus. Because it gets a little much adding it on the abacus. So what do? We do 4. So we're going to add 4. Okay, not a problem. Forget my times table. I'm memorizing it now. Yeah. Now I want to add another 4. We know this, right? We know how to add the 4. That was one of the things right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to plus the 4 is equal to plus the 5 minus 1. So I'm going to plus the 5. Whoa, you can't see that. Plus the 5 minus 1, right? Makes sense? We're okay? We're all done? So now the next question is we're going to add this 4. We know we're at 3 times 4 now, right? We have this 3. So because we have 3, we want to add this other 4. Notice I don't have enough beads to add the 4. In school, we're teaching the kids how to make a 10. To make a 10, it's 6 plus 4. This concept is what we're teaching the children. In Abacus, we're going to take it one step. When we're going to take it one step, what does that mean? We're going to isolate the variable. Isolating the variable. This is the variable that we're going to isolate. Now I'm using algebraic terms. Do we tell this to the kids? No, we don't tell this to the kids because they don't care. But in our concept, in our little world right now, I'm going to isolate the variable. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to move the 6 to the other side of the equation, to the other side of the equal sign. I'm going to rewrite this to make it fit for our concept, right? Again, we have this concept of how to make a 10, but to make a 10, we can make it more versatile, right? This is just the one number sentence. Let's modify it. Let's massage it, right? Let's do plus the 4 is equal to plus the 10 minus 6. See how I made it 10? 6 plus 4 is equal to 10. I moved it, so now we have 4 is plus the 10 minus the 6. What are we doing? Well, what here, if you look, it just seems harder to learn. I'm in college, but it sounds interesting though as well. It's simple to use, easy to understand. We're going through a lot of concept, but this is what we do, a little bit at a time. So what we're doing here is plus the 10 minus the 6. What does plus 10 mean? Plus the 10 only means going to the column next to it. So we have our 1s, our 10s. We only go to the next column. This is our 10s. This is a concept that we need to solidify, right? So we have plus the 10 and then take away the 6. So I'm left with 12, right? So now we're at 3 times 4. So the next one is going to be 4 times 4, right? We're going to add another 4. When we add this 4, the question is do we have enough? please put in the question. Please put in the answer, yes or no, in the chat. Yes or no. Do we have enough to add a 4? No. Exactly, right? No. So what do? Do we remember our formula? In the chat, do we remember our formula? Please put in the chat, what formula do we use? Right? Thank you, Ethan. Thank you. Thank you, Chicky Baby and Amanda and Bree and Karush. Right. You could add a rubber band vertically to visually mark the decimal place. You could, Amanda, actually, if you look at it, the question would be, do I have enough for 5? So what we're going to do is we're actually going to use our 5. That's what we're going to use, because we don't need to use the 10 because it's too much. So we go to the next one, which is our 5, and that's what we learned here. So we do the plus the 5. Yeah, right? Yeah, right? Like, it's so easy. Hi, Glendy. Thank you so much for the roses. Thank you so much for the roses. Right? It makes sense. So there's steps. There's steps. The first thing we need to understand is the simple, which means you're just moving the beads, right? The next thing, because 4 has 2 equations, the next thing you see is if there's enough to add the 5. If there's enough, then you add it. If there's not, then you go to the 10s. So those are the... Oh, I forgot. Sorry. So if you notice, those are the steps when we do it. But once we get the steps, that's our framework. That's all we need. So in the plus the 4, because I'm jumping ahead, right? I mean, usually there's more... yeah, anyways. What I'm trying to say is, so these are the steps. We have to figure out how to add the 5. If we can add the 5, then we do it. If we not, then we do the next one, which is plus the 10. Did that make sense? Thank you so much for the hearts. Thank you so much for the hearts. Okay. Are we okay? Does that make sense? I can keep going. So, Karush. I think that was Karush. Karush, yeah. So that's how we do 4 times 4. We would just have to do fast math, fast adding. But you have to memorize it. We can take it a step further, right? We can do higher. We can do multiplication. So the multiplication we can do would be this. Let's continue on with the 4, right? So we do 32 times 4. Okay, let's do that instead. That's a little bit more, with a little bit of abacus, right? Why? Because now we use the abacus for keeping track of our numbers. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to understand where our starting point is. When we do our starting point, more than 5. Oh, thank you so much, Mary. I was just looking. I was like, what about 5? I saw a kid do 3 digit times 1 digit mentally. Yeah, kids can do it mentally. Can I do it? No, I'm not a kid. No, I don't want to do it mentally. Okay, so we're back to here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to understand how to find our starting point. When we find our starting point, we are going to count our digits. We have 1, 2, 3. So our starting point is at 3. Do the colors mean anything? The blue is 5 and the rest... No, the colors don't mean anything at all. Hey, ladies! 400 by... Okay, we'll do that one next. I want to write it down. Okay. No. Kachi? No. The numbers just mean 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4. It would be just like using this one, right? The difference between the two is just the colors, but the function is the same. So this is 5. Remember, so this is 5. Only the top bead is 5. So when I label it, I usually say top bead and bottom bead. I don't label it with the colors. Hey, Desert. So we have 6, 7, 8, 9. Same thing. 6, 7, 8, 9. Make sense? Okay. So I'm going to continue on with multiplication. And then we'll do our subtraction. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to figure out we're going to figure out the bead on the bottom equals to 5. The bottom equals to... Yes. Thank you, Mary. Yes. So... finding our starting point. So I know 1, 2, 3. I'm going to start at the hundreds. When I start at the hundreds, I know that's where I'm going to start my answer. When I start my answer 1, 2, 3, I'm at the hundreds. What I'm going to do first is 4 times 3. 4 times 3 is equal to 12. This is something we have to memorize, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 12. 1, right? That's my 1. And then I'm going to move over here and I add my 2. I don't say 4 times 30 because then it just got complicated. Why? Because on the abacus gives me the place value. So I don't need to worry about the extra 0. Does that make sense? So I'm not going to say 120. I'm not going to say that in Abacus. I'm just going to say 12. So when we do the Abacus, when we are on the Abacus, we only do the basic, the simplified version of everything, because the Abacus helps us keep track. Does that make sense? So now I'm here. I'm going to keep my finger here, and now I'm going to do 4 times 2. 4 times 2 is 8. Right? Oh, thank you, Ravens. This is cool. Yeah, thank you. Why am I learning? Why am I learning math purposely? Yeah. Yeah, right? It's early morning and people are mathing. Okay, so here's the question. What do I do with this 8? This 8 is a single digit. This 8 is a single digit. What am I going to do? I'm just going to move to the next column over. I'm going to add 8. And now what I just did was distributive property. What did I just do? 4 times 12. Oh, sorry, yeah. Sorry. Wait, no. Wait, what? I'm so confused. I did 12. No. 12 and then 8. 8 is over here. I'm getting confused. Somebody said 38. Do 38. Oh, do 38. I was like, wait, what? Okay. Yeah, I just woke up, guys. I like math. No, this is the most informative Sunday morning I've ever since in 32 years. Now, I'm so upset I stopped learning Abacus for years back. This is generally such an amazing tool. It is very amazing. I'm just so confused. Don't be confused, Amanda. We will come back. So, do 38. I will do 38. Sweet life of Zach. Okay, so Abacus is like, okay, so let's do 38. So we'll do 4 times 38. Easy. Easy! Okay, Amanda, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to learn how to, and then Lady E will go back to your question. You know what? We'll go back to your question. Let me finish this. Okay, so Amanda, counting. All we're going to do is we're going to count. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. And then what is the top bead? The top bead will be 5. No matter what. This is a 5, this is a 5, this is a 5, this is a 5. Now the reason why I go across the columns is because we're talking about place values. We have our 1s, so this is 9. This is 10. How do I know? 1, 0. 20, 2, 0. 30, 3, 0. Just like that. And then this is 50. This is 150. So when we understand how to read the abacus, we can go further. Yeah. Make sense, Amanda? Let me know. Okay. Let's do this one, and then we'll do this one. Okay. So, brother, it's spring break. Yo, dude. Oh yeah, right. Spring break. I'm gonna go hit the mountains. We're gonna go snowboarding one day. Okay. So the first thing we're gonna do in multiplication, we need to understand our place value. Thank you so much for the follow. In multiplication, we need to know where our place value is, right? So our place value is going to be 3. How do I know? Because I'm going to count all of these digits. When I count all of these digits, I have 3. So my place value will be in the hundreds. So I have 1, 2, 3. So I'm over here. So the next one I'm going to do is I'm going to do 3 times 4. 3 times 4 is equal to 12. So I have 12. I add my 2. I add my 1. I add my 2. I add my 1. And I add my 2. Not a problem, right? Okay. Next one I'm going to do is 4 times 8. 4 times 8 is 32. Add 3. I add my 2. I add my 3. Now there's the problem. What's the problem? The problem is I don't have enough beads. What do I do? This is why we need to memorize our fact family, right? This is the reason why we need I found an abacus in my in-laws, but it has 2 beads on the top and 10 beads below. Yes, Water Alchemist, we can talk about that in a little bit. That's a Chinese abacus. And 10 beads below, I'm not sure why. So here, 3. I want to add the 3. This is where we need to know our fundamentals. And I kind of jumped ahead, right? But we need to know that plus the 5 minus the 2. This is how we make a 5. So we plus the 5 and we take away the 2. And then we add the 2 over here because that's a 32. So then my answer is... What's my answer? What's my answer? There's my answer. My answer is... Can you put in the chat what my answer is? 1, 5, 2. Thank you, Barry. Maybe it was 9 below. I don't... Thank you so much. Okay, Crazy and fires, and Ethan and Mary. Yes. Water alchemist. Maybe it's 9 below? Maybe? I don't know about that one. All right. So we're back to this one. We're going to do, oh, lady, was it a minus? Yes, it was a minus. I forgot what thing. Okay. So what does that mean? Well, what we're going to do is we're going to do subtraction now. We're going to do subtraction. Yes, thank you, lady. We're going to do subtraction. I'm bad at math too. I enjoy puzzles. I don't memorize numbers. Okay, so we're gonna do 400 first. 400, right? 400. How do I know? This is my ones, my tens, my hundreds. This is my 4, right? Now I'm gonna take away 70. When I take away 70, right? I'm over here. I take away 7. I take away 0. I take away 7. Well, what do? How do I make a 10? Make it 10, right? Minus 7 minus 3 equals minus 10. Then what do? I move this over here, right? Minus 7 is equal to minus 10 plus 3. You need to memorize this. This is something we all have to memorize, right? So what are we going to do? Minus the 7. Minus the 7 is equal minus the 10. Because I'm here, I want to minus the 10, right? Because I'm here, I need to minus the 10. I minus the 10, and then I plus the 3. That's it. So, math is a way of thinking, not just number. Yes, if you're good at puzzles, you're probably good at math. Yes, thank you, Amanda. I love puzzles. I don't like numbers. I don't get using an abacus, just adding more steps and easy already solution. Well, we got to go through the easy to get to the hard. We can get it to be like super long, but then people would get lost. Yeah, right? So when we know the fundamentals, then it would be, yeah, you know what? It is a calculator. It's an analog calculator. It keeps track of your numbers. It doesn't tell you how to do it, but that's what you do in your head, right? So that's the one thing. So okay, yeah. Any other questions? Did that make sense? Yeah. So you have to keep track of your formulas. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Anybody have any last minute? Because I have 10 minutes, just so you know. Thank you so much for the roses. Glendy. Okay. Wow, almost at 10,000K. Wow, you're the calculator in this one. Yes, exactly. So when we look at it, we have to know these formulas. We have to know the math facts, and we need to know the formulas. When we remember the formulas, then it's easy to fix and mold how to solve the solution, how to find the solution. So in school, in the beginning of school, we tell the kids, understand how to get an 8. But instead, what we should do, I believe, is understand how to get to 8. So just as we did 4 plus 4, just as we did, super simple stuff, right? So, but because we did something simple, why is it simple for us? It's simple for us because we know we're old, we know how to read our numbers. But it's different when the kids are going through it. When the kids are going through it, doing this 2 plus 2, it makes sense. So then when we start taking away stuff, and that was the one thing is when we start taking away numbers, some of the kids have a problem. But in Abacus, we need to show them how to take away because when we add, we have to subtract. So that was the one thing of understanding what are we trying to do? We're trying to build number sense. Yeah, for us, this is overcomplicated, right? For us, because I'm an adult, I can just whip out my calculator and then that's fine. But the question is can you do dividing on that basis? Yes, Harps, we can do dividing. So the question, going back to my thought, the question is how do the kids do it? So Remy says, adding more steps to something already simple solution. For us, it's simple, right? But for the kids, it doesn't make sense. So let's do some division. Let me find division. I know, right? I have 11K. I'm so great. This is nuts. This is the first. Thank you so much for all the hearts. Okay, so what we're going to do. So again, what we're going to do on the division, we have to find our starting point. Now again, I'm not going to do 21 divided by 3 because we need to know our multiplication fact. But we can do is this. We can do 225, divide that by 3. We can do this. right? Because now it makes sense, right? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to find our starting point. So we're going to find our starting point, right? There's, yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ethan. Congrats on the 10K likes. Okay, 11. Yes, 11, right? Crazy. So what we're going to do, just like we did multiplication, right? In multiplication, we added the digits. What we're going to do in division, we're going to subtract the digits. So we have 1, 2, 3. So what we're going to do is we're going to take it away. 3 minus 1 is equal to 2. So now I know my starting point is at 2. 1, 2. Why are we going to start here? This is where I'm going to start. This is where I'm going to put my answer. We do this to understand where we put our answer. So my answer is going to start from here. I need to put our dividend. I got to label it. Dividend and divisor. Why my... Oh, because we're taking away the digits. So do you always do minus 1 in division? We always take away the divisor from the dividends. So if we did... So here's a question, right? The question would be 25364 divided by 34. We're not going to do this right now. But what we do here would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 minus 2. And then this would be this is where I would start. Does that make sense? This is more complicated than normal way. No, actually, we're just setting it up. We just need to set it up. This is actually quite easy. But, okay, yeah, this makes sense, right? So the only thing we need to do is understand. Why? Because in regular math, we did 3, 2, 2, 5. Okay, let me do a comparison. So, we're at the 1, 2. So we start, this is where we're going to put. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 225 on my abacus. Why is it minus 2? Oh, because I'm taking away the divisor. I'm taking away the number of digits of the divisor from the dividend. That's why. The thing that adults often miss is that math is a language that everybody learns. Oh yeah, that's a good one. Yes, it is. It's a language. It's also a pattern, number patterns, right? Understanding and seeing the number patterns. So we're back to here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to compare. What am I going to compare? I'm going to compare only the first digit. Oh yeah, right? Makes sense. It's just a different way of thinking, right? It's just we learn it a different way in regular school, and I'm going to do a comparison. So in Abacus, we compare the divisor and our dividend. This is the only thing we need to compare. Why? How is that 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We counted we counted the amount of dividends. That's all. But we're back to here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to have our conversation with our question. Who is bigger? Our divisor, which is 3, or our dividend. Now, why do we need to compare? We need to compare because we need to know what we're going to be doing. So what's going to happen is our divisor is bigger. If our divisor is bigger, we're going to take up 2 of columns. Thank you, lady. Yes, our divisor is... So that's one of the things, right? That's the thing. One of the rules is if the divisor is bigger, we take 2. Now, in regular math, we don't say how many times does 3 go into 225. In Abacus, we break it down. We only work with the 2 digits. So my question is, what times 3 is equal to 22 or less? Why are you writing D and S for the divisor? Because I can keep track. Because I could say D and I could say D, but they're the same. How would you write it? That's a question. How would you? I don't know. I was just doing D and E because that's in my head. But yeah, that's what I would do. Yeah. No, it was just a question, like, is there another way? I mean, if there's a better way to write divisor and dividend, I'm all for it. But that was just something that just came up. So here, yeah, 22 divided by 3, yes, is equal to 7. So, not 8, Lady E. 22, because we're doing 22. 22 times 7 is equal to 21. So, I'm going to put 7 here, and I take away 21. I take away 20 and I take away 1. So on my abacus, this is what I have. In regular math, I know I'm going to put 7 here, so I do 21. And then my answer is here, 1. So because, yeah, lady, that's funny. Okay, so in regular math, right, we could see that we need another one. But in the abacus, we cannot see it. So we go back to comparing. We need to compare who is bigger, our dividend or our divisor. Our dividend is 1. We only need to compare the 1. Okay? We only need to compare the 1. We don't compare 2 digits. We only compare 1 digit. Our dividend is 1. Our divisor is 3. So who's bigger? Our divisor is bigger. So again, I know I'm going to do 2. I'm going to do these 2 columns. So the question is 3 times what is equal to 15 or less? 3 times 3 is equal to 15. Take away 1, take away 5. Oh, sorry, yes. Thank you. Thank you. 5. 0. Make sense? So 3 times 5 is equal to 15. Yes. So my answer is 75. You don't put the decimals in? I don't need the decimals because I don't have anything here. The reason why there was numbers here was because it was still part of my... It is. You're right. Misa. Ethan. The reason why is because I used the decimal part to keep my my dividends. So this kind of reminds me of partial quotient method. Yes, this is exactly what it is. This is exactly what it is. It is the partial quotient method. And then what we also do in Abacus is we do the distributive property. When we do multiplication, we do distributive property. But yes. All right. It is 9 o'clock. I am going to have to close up shop. I have to go get ready for class. If there's any other burning questions, is there any other burning questions? Woo, I gotta go. That's my alarm. I need to go. Thank you everybody for joining me. Thank you everybody for joining me and mathing this early in the morning. Almost at 201, right? Yeah, 20,000, right? Like that's crazy. Yeah, thank you so much. Happy Women's Day. Thank you. Yeah, right? This is crazy. This is like more than I can appreciate. I do appreciate everybody coming in and joining in and understanding what math is on the abacus. I mean, I'm trying to popularize abacus. Simple to use, easy to understand. And hopefully that was good. Yeah, good morning. It is. Oh yeah, thank you. I think I understand most of it. Yeah, you know what? I'm on live again. Wonderful. I enjoyed it. Thank you so much for Christine Tovia. Follow me, and I go on live pretty often. And we talk about the abacus. We do arithmetic. We do adding, subtraction, multiplication, and division. And we can also do the decimals, and we can also do fractions as well. But yeah, thank you for the lesson. No, yeah, thank you. And then Mary, yeah. Hey, Mary. So that's the question. For the dividends and the divisor, what would you say? It wasn't an offense. I didn't mean to offend. I was just wondering if there's a better way to say dividend and divisor when because I want to do acronyms. How would you do dividend and divisor? Or is there pictures? Maybe I'll do pictures. I don't know what that would be. What would you think? Mary, don't go. Mary, don't go. Don't end the live yet. It's like 200Ks. Make the kid. No offense. I was just curious to the E and the S. I mean, yeah, right. Yeah, that was the thing. Because I was like, I didn't want to. I needed to label it, and I didn't want to write out the whole thing. Yeah. Okay, good. Oh yeah, it was just one of those things. And people have asked, like, why are you doing S and E? It was because I wanted to just make sure I keep track of my divisor and my dividend. Yeah. Okay, cool. I want to. Yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you so much. Oh my God, 2,000. Thank you so much, everybody. Okay, but I do need to go. I don't want to be late for my class. But thank you so much. I will come live again. But thank you again. I'm going to. I do appreciate everybody here. Bye, and have a good day. Have a good evening. Have a good night. I love it. Thank you again. No, thank you. Thank you. You know what, Mary? Let me know what grades, and we can continue on with like going through, because it would be really prudent for the kids to know and understand it, and then getting an abacus, so yeah. Okay, okay, cool. Thank you, everybody. Bye. Bye. Okay, I'm gonna go. Bye. Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, yeah, let me know. Yeah, I would love to have a conversation about your classes and stuff. Okay, I'm gonna go. Thank you. When is the? Go ahead and follow me, and I will. You'll be notified. I'm not sure when my next one will be, but yeah, follow me, and I'm always live all the time. Ethan will understand. Ha! Ethan knows. All right. I do have a couple of regulars, like Lady E. Lady E. She sees me too. I'm on often. So okay. Thank you again. Have a good day. Have a good night. Happy mathing, everybody. Happy abacusing, because I'm gonna abacify everything. Thank you for the follow. Thank you for the follow. See you later. Bye.